So this week's mail, halfway through the week now, not much to show. Well, we did have a little hunt round on some of my notifications, and MERG, the Model Electronic Railway Group, might be some of you are familiar with. The website used to be a bit more accessible than the last time I went on it. Part of their modus is to get people back into electronics, because obviously everything's so cheap and easy to make these days. It's not worth building it yourself in a lot of cases, but their business model is that you have to pay a subscription to fund their website and obviously their business model, I guess, which kind of to me defeats bringing people into it if you're not going to do it like say RM Web, and just earn your money from advertising revenue on your website and let people come in and find information, which is what I used to go on there for and try and find out stuff, and you can't because you're not paying to be a member. It's not hugely expensive, but it's more than I want to pay for the amount of times I'm going to use it. So consequently, I don't have access to this stuff on their shop now. I don't think they do anyway. But yeah, so this little package here is servo mounting equipment, and obviously you can see some servos already on their mounts. These type you can put a micro switch on each side, so you can use it for changing the polarity on your points, signals. There's a few other little bits and pieces. There's a power supply there, and I think there's some kits as well. What they call pocket money kits, I think. A simple shuttle. That'll be a DC one, so not going to be a lot of use to me. I was going to build a DC shuttle thing before I ended up entering the world of DCC, but yeah, we've got here a very simple basic power supply. Again, could still use that for supplying lighting. Works off 15 volt AC. I have an old transformer that powers my point motors. A couple there, and easy points. Let's look and see what that one does. What we got here, this looks a bit more involved. Chips and things. A servo driver for controlling up to 4 servos. Oh, well, that'll be handy. But staying with the controlling of 4 servos, the other item that the guy was selling was one of these. You might be familiar with the man from Mega Points Controllers who covers the progress of Pete Waterman's layout. I have managed to pick a couple of these up. These will control 12 servos. I'm going to get it out on me one-handed. Yeah, so that's the servo board. This is version 1.6. I think he's on 1.8 now. I have got another one or two of these. These are about, I think, 60 to 70 pounds on his website, which is why I haven't bought them, because that's, quite a bit of money to control a £1 servo. So I am going, in part, the Arduino route to control said servos that will control turnouts. But these are convenient and can be programmed to control other, or perform other operations, just rather than swinging a servo backwards and forwards. You can program them to do signal bouncing and things, I think, and some servo extension leads. So that all cost me £40. So I haven't sort of priced it. I think these are about £3 each. Servo motors are, well, the ones I buy are just over £1 a piece. So I think this little bundle cost me more than the Megapoints controller. I think that cost me £16, and this lot cost me 21. But I'm going to do my own servo mounts to a certain degree, but some of them need more functionality than just a simple piece of trunking or aluminium channel, just to provide more operational control. But yeah, they were, to me, worth the money. I wasn't going to go much more, but that bundle all came today. So we've got servo control wires here as well. Looks like just the leftover bits, I think. And this is quite heavy. Have to have that there as well. No, this is a servo set too. I don't know. There's more in. Well, I'm literally just opening the pack and not even gone through it yet. But yeah, it's a good deal, as you can see here, of kits. These are probably I don't know, £4 or £5 each, I'm guessing. There might be more, shock horror, but certainly component wise, a bit of basic Veraboard. These sort of component kits, you can literally go online and search Google and find these sort of like little projects to do. So yeah, it all goes towards the control side of the railway rather than the rolling stock. There is a little bit inbound this week at some stage, but primarily the control side. I've got a good sized box now of all various electronics and bits and pieces and sound FX units that will find their way into being integrated into parts of the layout. So we're just slowly getting towards that point. I know some people sort of wondering what's happening. At the minute I'm still doing bits in the garage, but while the weather's been nice, then it's outside projects at the minute, which are all a cumulative sort of task of all of the little pieces of the puzzle that I've got to get in place that will then allow me to have unrestricted sort of, unless there are any unvariable spanners that turn up in the works, to get towards building the building first that the layout's going to go in. The old shed, if you've seen some of my community posts, is now gone. The diggers park there at the minute, but yeah, a lot of firewood to try and dispose of somewhere. Not quite sure what's going to happen with that bit, but I will keep little snippets in the future. But yeah, it's going to be, I realistically don't see me breaking ground until end of this year or start next year. Time I get all the other projects out of the way this year. There's some maintenance on the truck to do and heating and stuff, so yeah, I'm afraid it's sort of priorities of life really. It's just a hobby after all. Yeah, so the final mail call of the week, I think, unless something turns up on Saturdays. It's now Friday evening. Been waiting for these. It was a case of a bit like the old buses scenario, isn't it? When you want one, there's none, and then when you know, they all turn up at once. A bit like auto racks. I managed to acquire an old kit that's never been touched. It's, you know, as sold back when. It's a Northwestern, which you still do see these kicking around on the network. So yeah, a full mint one to build. Where are we? 89 foot enclosed auto carrier, Chicago and Northwestern. So that'll be another one that goes in a very long rake of auto racks. And along with it, I managed to pick up, there was a couple other things I missed, but this is a 65 foot LPG tank car, or a tanker as we'd just call them over here, but again it's an unmade kit. I don't know whether you're seeing much of it in the glare of the cellophane. But yeah, you've got two halves of the tank and the end pieces, and then all the weights and wheels and bits are underneath inside. So it's trying to build get a few tank cars. It would be nice to have one that's actually mint, as I can build it without any defects. I still haven't started the other ones that are a bit of a project, the squished ones. They might be winter or evening when I just feel like buggering about and I'm bored. So the Megapoints controller board, I've hooked some of the servos up and it works fine, so there's no issues with that. I've got another one. I had a look in my box, so I've got two of these now, so that's 24 servos I can control either as semaphore bouncing signal function or point control, or they can do both at the same time. So they may find their way into the 1930s era to control semaphore signals and give you that bounce, but again, semaphore signals, the operating ones aren't cheap. They sort of, I look for them and buy them when they're the right price. I don't buy them at RRP prices like most of my stuff. It's just too damn dear. So yeah, they might be a little bit if something turns up tomorrow or end this week's video, but if not, cheers for now.